From early days of infancy through trembling years of youth, long murky middle age, and final hours long in the tooth, he's the 100 names of terror, creature you love the least. Picture his name before you exercise the beast. This is, of course, Broadsword and the Beast by the progressive rock band Jethro Tull, the 50th anniversary that is remastered, re-engineered, reconfigured for a 5.1 surround experience, and it also contains the stereo remixes as well. Now, the audio engineer behind this endeavor, of course, is Steven Wilson, who is quite famous as the lead singer, songwriter, guitar player of the band Porcupine Tree. He's also quite famous as a solo artist as well, and he's also gained a lot of reputation for himself as someone who's capable of remastering a lot of these classic progressive rock albums that are just sonically beautiful. Now, this, I gotta say, is not the Jethro Tull album that I crave when I want to listen to some Jethro Tull. I kind of gravitate towards the usual suspects: Thick as a Brick, Passion Play, Aqualung, Heavy Horses, Songs from the Wood, even Too Old to Rock and Roll, and also from the newer albums, I gotta say, .com I don't really care much about, but Roots to Branches is also a great album to listen to as well. Of course, the classic old Jethro Tull with Stand Up, Benefit, those are also great albums as well. But this is a good album. It contains some good songs and some moments of brilliance. But for the most part, I think the songs are a bit mediocre at best. I think the songs that really stand out are the very first song on the album, that's Beastie, and also Broadsword, also Hard Times. Some parts of it, they're good, but for the most part, the music isn't really an evolution from the album that came prior to this. Now, in my opinion, is a stronger album compared to Broadsword and the Beast. And the album that actually followed this one, Crest of a Knave, I think is a stronger album than this. So between Crest of a Knave, Broadsword and the Beast, and I think Crest of a Knave actually stands much taller compared to its counterparts that were made back in the 80s. Now, there are also quite a few cast-off songs that are featured as part of this. I think there's quite a few CDs, 7, 8, or I gotta say 5 CDs, and there are 2 DVDs, I think. The ones that I really care about are the live performances, and those actually sound excellent. Steven Wilson did a pretty good job with remastering those, and those sound excellent, and they play a lot of the classical Jethro Tull music that I absolutely love and adore. But the cast-off songs, they're not for me. Some of the songs sound too repetitive, and there's a lot of the use of synthesizer is also, I think the synthesizer was quite overused when they were writing the music. I think that was probably due to the addition of the new keyboard player to the band, Peter John Vitesi, who was electronically inclined, and he actually played a lot of synthesizer music. A lot of it doesn't really suit the Jethro Tull music that well. In it worked okay. The synthesizers weren't that overused. In this, there's a lot of synthesizer, and they don't really add to the natural flow of the song that well. So I'm not quite inspired by Vitesi's contribution to the band as a musician, as a songwriter, or as a composer. However, I gotta say, as a live performer, he was quite fantastic. And there is this live in Germany that he does an excellent job actually playing some of the classical Jethro Tull tunes, and he's got an interesting stage appearance. Although I don't think he holds a candle against John Evans, who was the Jethro Tull keyboard player in the 70s. And he was also one of the pre-Jethro Tull members. I think initially Ian Anderson, not Martin Barr, Ian Anderson, John Evans, Barrymore Barlow, and I believe Jeffrey Hammond was part of that too. They played in the John Evans band. So he was the founder of that particular band. And then Ian Anderson met up with Mick Abrahams, met up with Clive Bunker and Glenn Cornick, I think somewhere in London, and they founded Jethro Tull. But Mick Abrahams, I think at some point he thought that Jethro Tull was his band and he was running the whole show, which of course wasn't true. Ian Anderson was basically writing the songs. So they got rid of Mick Abrahams and he was replaced by Martin Barr as a guitar player. And I think Clive Bunker, they said that he got married. That's why he left the band. And Glenn Cornick was also, I think, fired. I think Ian Anderson had said there were some musical problems, some personality issues. So all of those got replaced by pre-Jethro Tull members. Barrymore Barlow came back, John Evans, and also Jeffrey Hammond. But a good album. This is quite expensive. So I had some credit on my Amazon account. I'd received a gift card and I hadn't used it for such a long time. So I said, well, let's use it towards this purchase. But at the price that this is currently available, I don't think it's that good of a deal. You know, it shouldn't be priced like that. I mean, they give you a lot of material. They give you a lot of CDs and DVDs. To be honest with you, I don't care about much of them. I care about live performances, of course, stereo remixes. 5.1 for me is more like a novelty that you gotta have the space, you gotta have access to the proper equipment to be able to listen to the music in an immersive way. Now, currently where I'm living, I don't have access to that. All my stereo equipment is still in Sacramento, and so when I'm gonna go back, I'll give this a try. But I gotta say, overall, I'm pleased with it, but the price is pretty high, and also the cast-off songs are not very impressive. But Steven Wilson did a pretty good job with remastering this record, reconfiguring it for a new experience. And yeah, so it's good. Some great songs, as I said, Fallen on Hard Times, Beastie, and Broadsword, of course, is a pretty strong song. Overall, I'm happy, I'm satisfied, but this is not really my top favorite Jethro Tull album. Thank you very much for being with me. And yeah, please, if you haven't done so already, although I gotta say I haven't made a video in such a long time prior to this, but please do subscribe to the channel. I have more interesting, more exciting materials to come on the channel in the future. And thank you very much for your patronage. Really appreciate that. Thank you very much for subscribing to my channel and also liking my videos and being with me. Cheers, appreciate it.